think we can just expect more of what we've seen last week, and we also understand that the earnings season is still unfolding, and this week will be quite big for the tech stock areas, So I still think there's more to come in this particular leg here. It's a little bit small when I compare it to this leg, so to speak, you know what I mean? So it's still a little bit small. We've got overlapping wave structures, and you could probably better off putting it as a WXY. Yeah, I'm not seeing any sort of impulse waves to the upside, but it can still move to the upside and still come down as well. So don't get trapped, and that will be the same for a lot of stocks as well. So just if you're going to go long, just do it with a very small amount of capital. Yeah, so just recapping that situation, there's more, there's a lot of earnings coming out this week, so let's see what that is. I will show you a stock that where all the smart money's going into, so we'll have a look at that along the way. And yeah, so I won't go into the S&P because to go through all of this little zigzagging through here is a little bit of a headache, and it's not really going anywhere, so we don't really have to do anything. We just got to wait it out. So I'll give more detail on stock, of course. So when Apple here, it's got a earnings report on the 27th, and it's the 24th today. There are some coming out today on the 24th as well. So yeah, so as far as we were looking for this to move down, and look, I could probably put this under this particular spike here, but like I said, I'm not really seeing any impulse waves in all of this here, so it's more likely that we're going to come down on this. Yeah, I mean, so without the spike here, I just sort of look at this as 5 waves down to here, with wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave. I think this is a 4th wave here. I haven't bothered pulling it apart, and look, it could just be the A, the B, and the C here, down for 1, back for 2, 3, 4, 5, and come down. It'll be something like that, so yeah, there's no trade here though just yet. You can buy in the box, that's okay. I wouldn't overdo it. We'll look at it when it comes back on top. If it drops down here, this is group 2, so 65, we can start to build in on 65 and move to the upside at that point. That's all good. I'll leave you with that though. Amazon here on the 27th as well. So we were looking for it to push up on this box here. I don't know if I called a long trade in above this thing here. I remember cleaning that up a little bit, but if you're in this, just keep the stop under the 105 at this point, and because we've got to get through these wave 4s as well. So if you can get to 10, that's fantastic. So yeah, but sort of 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. I could call that wave 3, but it's a little bit small compared to this one here. So I've just gone 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that looks a little bit impulsive down here. So it's probably, just be a bit careful about this. It's probably something like that, and it probably will overlap that. And maybe we've got to stretch this up for another wave 1 here or something. I'm not quite sure, but keep the stop out of the way. The trend to the upside is not completed at this point. That's the takeaway. Coming over to NVIDIA here, it was pretty clear that we had an A and a B and a C wave up here, and I've pulled that apart on a 10-tick chart, so I'm happy with that. And I think this here from the B, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, so there's no change here from our last comments on this. So down here somewhere for wave 5, maybe the length of wave 1, so yeah, about that, right? Trading level stuff, this is the medium level here, 250, then we've got 65, 72 and 80, group 2 here, right? So even though we can come down into this box here, you can see how this dropped down here and then recovered. So it's really like the first low below the level. A little bit messier here, but same thing, it never really sort of found it as resistance, and I think that's what we'll probably get over here. There's space for it to spike. And then if it can do that, then the long trade would come off the top of that there. I've looked at this here. There is 5 waves in this in wave 3 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, looks corrective, incomplete. I mean, it could be an A and a B and a C, but I looked at that because I got the A, the B, the C over here, you know. I can get 5 waves out of this move here, but I still need another 5. I could use this as a truncated move, but even then I'd still have to look at this as an A and a B and a C to come down here, so I'd still end up in the same place. So I think we just chill on this for a moment, but it'd be nice to catch this run up to the 300. That's what's happening here, and this is all an accumulation process, so this will chuff off pretty quickly when it can. It's had its quarterly revenue meeting, and Meta Platforms, the 38.2% retracement levels here. I can't really give a clean count on this little wave forward that's moving down here. If I go from 1,000 ticks to, say, 10 ticks and just get in there a little bit with this, this is it here. So it's a little bit tricky to count. You know, I can count, you know, parts of it, and I can make assumptions on others. But the main point here is, look, we could be getting an impulse wave up here off the low, but I would expect a bounce off number 1 here, which is 10, but it's 1 to me. So it will come back up into supply area here. I just don't know if it's finished yet. I think it's something, I think the market's a little bit like that. But it's a bit hard to, you know, you can do certain things with this. You know, you can probably count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. You could probably keep that all as the same wave. I mean, you've got to kind of group all that together. It's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. It looks like 5 waves here, but it's the A, the B, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a little bit tricky to count, you know. I was kind of noticing this particular pattern here is just a bigger version of this one here, you know. So I think that this is kind of what's going to happen. It won't go down that quickly because that's a different part of the trend, but I think there is more to this. So anyway, I got nothing to really base anything off here. You'd have to put the stop under here for that, but because I can't confirm that, and I can get 5 waves out of this a little bit, but yeah, it's just not strong enough at this point in time to look at here, you know. I mean, it does, whichever way you want to look at it, it does make a nice kind of, I've got it counted in different ways here. Of course, this is the bearish counter point. You know, it does count sort of nice as 3, 4, and 5 up here. So we will get a top, and then we will get a correction here, you know. That's the thing. So we're close, but as far as I can see so far, we're just not there yet in terms of 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So third, fourth. I think that's the right way to go. But as I mentioned before, if I looked at all of this as wave 1 here, so just look at this as 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5 in here, some sort of little weird thing as 1 and 2 here, then I'll have to look at that as 3 and 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it can be a top in play here. And it does concern me a little bit, because I know that when a market's been, you know, gone above a major level like this here, we always look for 5 waves and then pulling back into it. You know, it has reacted over here, so the reaction, the arrival, the reaction, the first 5 waves, first high above the level. So it could get pulled down to here. Normally, if it gets pulled down to here, then we would see something like, you know, we would see this whole trend being corrective, and we'd put wave 5 in here. So you just got to be a little, you know, it's not really a good, I suppose, yeah. If it went above the 220, you can get up to 230 or something, you know, but yeah, just pointing out that we're close to a top. And normally on the psychology side of things, we get pulled down to the 200 at that point. So just be a little bit careful about that. But it's sitting on the strongest number at the moment, so we'll just give it a bit of time, and if we can see a long trade that's safe, we'll take it. The zone with the Netflix here, we can look at, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. It's all pretty clean, and I was looking at this as the A wave, the B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, considering a low in place. But I don't have a nice 5 waves here. Now I could go wave 1 here, 2 over to here, That's really, let me just check on that. Looks a bit low here. I mean, I'm just not getting 5 waves here. That's the bottom line, you know, because sometimes you can go 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, and then the A, the B, and the C here. So this looks corrective here. So this is one of these things that I think can go up here and then come down again, you know, something like that. We're not there yet with this, so I just want to give it a little bit of time. You know, the ABC here, the B wave's a little bit small for the whole thing as well. I mean, it's pulled back into the 50-60%, but I'm just not getting a nice 5 waves off here. I'm not getting 5 waves off this little low here either. So yeah, we'll put wave 2 over here, but it's possible here. But yeah, just I'm not seeing the love here in an impulse wave at the moment for that. And what have we got here? Enphase. Yeah, so yes, last time we spoke, I could put wave 4 here with well, an A wave here, a B wave here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for this. So I don't think that's just there yet. I don't know why I put that there. So the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here. But I'm also not getting 5 waves up here as well in this first leg here. I'm getting like a corrective move. I'm getting an A and a B and a C. So maybe I need to see further downside for this here, and there's different ways that I could look at this. I could also put wave 1 over here, but then it makes it a little bit big at that point. But what I wanted to say is that yes, we can look at it as an A wave here, a B wave, and a C wave here, and be finished here, and that's okay at that point. But because I'm not getting 5 waves here, it's a little bit of a mystery. So I can see that we got 5 waves in this leg here. I'm just not getting it here, that's all. I can see that that's corrective as an ABC, so we should take out the top here, and we have taken out the top. So the whole thing can be an A and a B and a C wave here. So look, any move above that, you can go long, but otherwise we're going to see further downside here. How it plays out, I'm not quite sure just yet. Yeah, I'll just have to watch it for a moment, that's all. So all I can say is that you can go long above here, then that would prove me wrong, but otherwise we're going to be coming down here further, and we'll have a bit of a look at that. Google. So with Google here, we've got 2 bearish counts. One of them is, well, the A, the B, and the C wave to this particular point here, and that's the top, and we come down from that point, and we are coming down, but it's looking a little bit corrective in this particular move here, so I don't think that that's the case. I think we need to come down further, down into the 100, and then we'll probably push up here. So in pushing up to here, this would kind of be in line with the timing's a little bit out actually with the rest of the bear market stuff. I mean, obviously we've got a bullish count for this too, but look, in the meantime, it's possible to have a top in here based on those 5 waves here. It's not the best looking impulse wave off the lows here. We can go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and all of that, or 1 and A, B and C and things. But yeah, all I can say is this little move in here is corrective. I think that we need to come down here. I think it's a case of going up a little bit and then coming down into the 100, testing it, and then moving up. How to count that? You know, maybe the bullish count is a better fit for that, with 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 over here. But I can't prove this. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's right or not. I just can't sort of prove that at this particular point. But all I'm looking for is that if we can prove this as being corrective, it needs to push up here a little bit. If we can get this as corrective, we're going to have a trend over here to move on to. It's as simple as that. So I've got it counted in here in different ways, so don't get too, all right, that's just another way to count it. I want to go to 100 ticks just to have a look at that little area in here. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just go to 1000 first. Yeah, so the move down off the top here, even though we've got it as C and B here, it's not, because it's spiked in here, it's difficult to see what that is in here. So to look at it as 5 waves is a little bit bit what's the name. So I think that we push up here and then we push down here and then we push up at this point. This is more of a bearish count here in this case. So looking at this on 100 ticks, just drilling in here for the sake of it. So I've got it here as an A and a B and a C wave here, which I think is okay, because otherwise I have to have wave 1 and 2 in here, but I can't see in here. That's one of the problems. Okay. Now this move up through here is a bit difficult to count as an impulse wave. That's an impulse wave. This one here is probably 1, 2. We can get 5 waves out of that, but it still leaves us with 3 waves here. So it can just drop here. So yeah, I mean, if it takes this little high out here, I mean, obviously we've got a little triangle sort of wedgie pattern happening in here, so to speak. But I think it's something like this, you know, and then we move up from that point. So I just don't have a good, because of this spike here, I don't have a good understanding of what's in here, you know, so I just got to be a little bit careful. I am seeing 3 waves in here. And it's, you know, I could probably go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 over here and 1 and 2 here. So, you know, if you wanted to do a day trade and you see the markets are positive, you can go long above there. I just feel that the rest of the markets are telling me that we have got to have one more sort of leg down, but I'm a little bit unsure about that as well. So yeah, you can go long above there, but how far you get is another question on that at this point. And with the earnings, you know, this has got, Microsoft's got earnings today as well. We've been working through this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. We know that we'll make new highs up here because this move here is in 3 waves. It's just how do you count this in here? That's a little bit messy in here. I suppose if this top gets taken out here, then you can go long at that point. But I think there's something like this to, once again, to be had before going up here. So just be a little bit careful about that as well. And because they've got earnings today, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's a different technique, isn't it? News trading. So Berkshire Hathaway here. So we're looking at wave 1 and 2, and it could, I've got 1 and 2 here, and I could put blue wave 3 and blue wave 4 here, but I think it's actually a smaller version, like a little green wave 3 and 4, but we still need to move up further on this. And this was kind of interesting to me because there wasn't a lot of, well, at the beginning of the video I talked about where all the sort of smart money's going, and it is this particular stock in a way. So this is Apple here. Don't worry about the wave counts or anything. We're just having a look at the volume now. We're on a weekly chart here. Let me just, I don't need all that. I'll just get that in here, and I'll just put this in over here for this. So we can see, you know, when you're having corrections, you expect lower volume. This trend here, wave 5 can normally have lower volume than wave 3, so that's all correct. We've got lower volume here than this. So getting that lower volume will tell you that, well, it's not, it's kind of divergence in a way, but it's telling you that that's the 5th wave because it's a lower volume. It's telling us this is corrective because we're on lower volume. It doesn't mean that the corrective pattern is over. I mean, we could still have another leg down here. That's not an issue. But we're just looking at the volume here. So that's Apple. This is Amazon here as such. So yeah, we're seeing a bit of volumes on these lows here. This pushes up here. This pulls back here. So there's a move up on lower volume here. We can read all this bar for bar, but that's not really why I'm here. I'm just wanted to, NVIDIA is a stock that the volume is moving into, but in this trend coming in here, we're not seeing excessive volume over the top here for this. So it's sort of, you know, not diminishing, but it'll push up higher, but there won't be a lot of volume coming into it at the top there, of course. And Meta, I think he started to buy his own stock down the bottom down here. So it's good to see he's got a bit of confidence in his stock. So yeah, I mean, all this is a lot of volume in here as well, but this is all really part of the selling volume in here, and this supported the market here. you know, we're moving up here, but we're also seeing lower volume here. So you can see here that in one way or another, we're quite close to a top because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, you know. Yeah, there could be a little bit more, but all I'm just saying is we're close to a top. This trend hasn't been corrected, and that's what we're working through with this. Netflix, nothing outstanding in the volume. Enphase, this is on log scale here. All pretty low volume through here. Bit of volume in here, which is nice. Tesla, bit of buying at the 100 here, but not really seeing, you know, a lot of that go. I mean, this corrective, this pattern here is corrective, right? Well, we're playing it as corrective, but you see it's on lower volume, and that's what we want. Yes, this bar here is a little third wave in the C wave here, so we've got further to come down on this, and we'll check on that. But everything's going okay here, and Google here hasn't really gotten off its lows, not really where we want to be here. This is Berkshire Hathaway here in terms of the B class shares, I suppose. But this is the one that I wanted to sort of show you here. This is obviously where the money's going into the market. Well, let's just say a lot of money is going into the market for this particular stock. Anyway, I just thought that was sort of interesting at this point. It's not like the market's actually, there's a lot of volume going in there. It's kind of going in there for safety, isn't it? Everybody joined that particular circle to at least not lose their wealth, so to speak, you know. I mean, for the amount of volume that's gone in there, you would expect this stock price to move much higher than that, but it hasn't. So that's also interesting as well. But anyway, I just wanted to show the volume on the BRK.B here. So, but anyway, this has got further to move up, and as I mentioned, we're going through new highs, so at some point it's going to come back and check that 320, so just be mindful of that. And Tesla here, so we're looking at wave B here, and we're going down to wave C here. In that, we're looking at 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and then we've been working through 1s and 2s here. The nice third wave came into play. So we're in a series of 4s and 5s down here now. So that means that it's going to get a little bit complicated down here. So there'll be times when we won't know what's going on with this. If it's going to turn bullish from here because I've got it wrong and this is some sort of A and B and C and we've got to start buying down here, we're still got to get one nice impulse wave to the upside before we can do anything here. So we're nearly to the end. We'll just watch. There was strong volume on this move here, as we noted on that weekly chart, and we'll watch this diminish into here. So we'll watch lower volume come into this area, into these 4s and 5s here, and that's really what we want to see. I know that's April the 19th, a little bit old, but I just want to leave these here. Well, I don't need that one now. I just want to leave some indication that I know that it's done its earnings. We're not interested in this particular one at the moment for this because we still need to work out the banks, and today we're going to have a look at Morgan's as well. So here's Bank of America, and as I mentioned, it's been pointed out to me we can have this as a WXY, and that's the low in the market for this. That's okay, but I still want to play out this bearish count here. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. And because, you know, the thing is that, you know, even if you're looking at the Nasdaq and the S&P and whatever stocks, and the market is like pushing up, you know, it'll get to a point where, you know, people will start to see, you know, these push up, and we can trade long here, but I'm just being very cautious because it's kind of typical with, like, it's like this rally here will be typical of a B wave here. It's like this here is a bigger version of what's going on over here. This drop here, right, is this drop here, and this move here will be this sort of move here. So it looks impulsive. You get 5 waves up here, you get a correction, and you get another 5 up here. And it came very high, didn't it, in terms of the 61.8% mark here. So, but you get to the point where everybody, you know, that's going to be in this, that's looking at it, is going to be in it. They're in, you know, then there's no one else to get in. So I think that's going to be over here as well. So if we get support on the $30 mark here, by all means, you know, the more support you can see on the 30, the better off you are. And you'll have to keep the stop under the last low here. I mean, it's sort of typical sort of stuff. But that 30, once it becomes tested, that will be the saving grace at that time. So we can, this is a 61.8% up at 33. So we can end up here and the market can turn down. So I'm putting it like this because it just make people think, you know, that I'm just saying it's okay to be bullish, but at the same time, we just need to be careful as we go. Now, this BAC was one of the weaker ones that's dropped lower down through here and all the rest of it. Then you got these other ones that haven't dropped very much. So we could look at them from the low here all the way down here as an A and a B and a C, and that's the low in place. And we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for wave 1 with an A and a B and a C wave for wave 2 here. And then we move up here further and we can count up here. We can look at these. Let's put this up here. In this case, if we're going to be wave 1 here or wave C, we need 5 waves in this case, because I'm also looking at it as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. So the situation here is basically we're looking for, when we get up here somewhere, I haven't bothered to pull this apart just yet, but we're at the later stages of this 3rd wave here. There's going to be some type of 4th wave here, right? And then there's going to be a 5th wave here. Now, anything beyond that, so if this is going to be wave 1 up here, then we can go long from that point, because we will be going 1, 2, 3 at that point. But this is where it can fail at this point, come up to this point and then fail and move down here. So it's just getting to a point that we just need to play this out as the A, the B and the C wave here. That's all. So at least you know where you are within all of this. That's one thing, isn't it? So yeah, we'll just play this 5 waves out here, and it's going to take, you know, weeks to get through all of this. And then it's going to take weeks to get to this side of it as well, you know. So it's a, you know, it's a month before we can say that the banks are bullish or the banks are bearish. So I think that's a practical way to look at the situation. And this would run through to whatever country that you're in as well. So if you're in Australia, this type of thing will be the same as well. We're going to get rallies higher, but just be aware, and it'll be the same for, you know, the Deutsche Bank and so on, wherever you are. So that's that, and this is Johnson & Johnson here. We're just keeping an eye on it here. It's possible to count 5 waves up to here, but we're just looking for a nice support on within group 2 here. This move up through here can also be counted corrective, so it can come back down here as well. So I'm not ready to put wave 1 here and 2 in here just yet. But if we get a classic trading level buying on here, we can buy above here. Basically, we can do that. Let's just go in and just take a look at this here. We're on 10k ticks. Just tune in for the Monday. Okay, so we can count 5 waves up as we did last week. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd, 4th, 5th. That's okay. We could put this over here. It doesn't really give me 5 waves down, so I'm just putting it over here at the moment. This up here could be counted as impulsive or corrective. We're not sitting on the 165 here just yet as well. That would also need that as well. But I do expect the market, the general market, as we looked at the Nasdaq and the S&P, is going to be much the same as well. They both got this particular pattern in here, you know. So in this case, it's like that. We're on 20,000 ticks here. This is 1,000 ticks for the S&P. So it's a little bit tricky to count this here, so there's a little bit more fluffing around. I think we've got, I think we've got something like that to happen on these markets, but we need to just keep an eye on those for a moment. So yeah, can't give long trades, can't give short trades, just need to be a little bit careful on all of these here. So I mean, this is a little 5 waves down here. It can be down for 1 and back for 2 here, down for 1 and back for 2, down for 1 and back for 2, and down for 1 here and back for 2. You know what I mean? So yeah, so we're not there yet with this. That's all. I thought we may get a nice, if we had this here as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up here, then a nice ABC here that would have made it a little bit easier. But anyway, that's that. So I'll leave it all at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.